Hello, everybody. This is Alan Fine. I'm here with Peter Velitis, who is the Senior Vice President of Airline Relations for Internova, which you know was formerly Travel Leaders Group. We spoke to him back in July about the airline industry. We're going to find out what's been going on there since and more on Insider Travel Report. Peter, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy our conversations.
I do too. Thank you. I was looking forward to it also. But let's rewind and let's talk about, in July, you told us the history of airlines and COVID up to July, and that the airlines had totally shut down. They were starting to preserve their cash. They retired old planes, and I think you said they hit bottom in April.
Right.
April was a low point. Where are we now?
And thank you. I like this conversation because I know your audience. This is B2B, and we're talking travel advisors. So I don't have to, sometimes I do these calls and I have to kind of dummy it down because some people don't understand some of the terms. So yeah, April was at the bottom. March, April, June, we started going up. Then when we had the protests in the country, we stalled a little. And now, we're back on the upswing. So everything is trending up, but for everyone in the industry with traveling, it's trending kind of slow. The rest of the year by the airlines, fourth quarter has been written off. Sorry, but really giving the second wave of the virus that is out there and what's happening globally, airlines have load capacity is still extremely low, 25, 30%, 35. It depends on the city pairs, some are up, some are down. And the amount of flights, there's really a lot more lift going on than capacity could handle. But you can only shut an airline down to you can't put everyone. I mean, where are you going to park the planes? But where we are today is every week is better than the week prior. If you look at the TSA numbers, it's slowly moving up. There's the peaks and the valleys, averaging about 800,000, 900,000 when you get to Friday and Saturday. Last week, for the first time, we broke 1 million passengers going through TSA. Actually, it's not passengers. I'm sorry, I should correct that. It's 1 million people going through TSA because you have to factor in this crew that goes through there. There's employees. So it's not all passengers going there. But I am, as far as how we're going, I'm cautiously optimistic that at least we're trending positive. It's not as fast as anyone on this wants us, but at least we're not negative trending. Now, I don't know if that's going to last.
We have the holidays coming up, and how does that factor in?
Well, right now, if you asked me that question yesterday, I would say I think it's going to continue to positive trend. But there are some things that are going on right now that are beyond our control. And to show you how there's no coordination, folks, the state of New Jersey suggests a 14-day quarantine, kind of honor system. And Connecticut said, take a COVID test within 72 hours and you're good to go. To the travel advisors out there, one thing that we do know, there is no strategy, there is no policy, there's no government guidance. And it's not only the U.S. government, really internationally. Right now, the World Travel and Tourism Council and their president, Gloria Guevara, she's doing a fantastic job, and they've put out the safe travel, right? And for those who are on this call, I recommend going on their website and you can read up about some of that. It's kind of similar to, the U.S. Travel Association. They put out, let's go there. Everybody's trying to put all this stuff. And even us, Internova, the travel leaders, we have a program called Book with Confidence. What is all that designed? It's designed to tell the travel advisor the tools they need when they talk to the customer. I will tell you one thing that the airlines do know. They know now the best tool, right? The best tool is the travel advisor. Why? Because the travel advisor can talk to their customer, because customers now want to talk to somebody. Although, yes, people can go online and we're in this digital economy and Amazon's going to run away and own the world. The travel advisor is the person who's going to say, this is what the airlines have done. This is what the resort is doing. This is how you get from point A to point B.
Well, I think that was a necessary thing because it was a void. The government didn't step in.
That's
so
correct.
Who is going to make this happen? And so it's.
I have to tell you, I spend maybe 50% of my time now with government relations, which I never thought I'd be sitting doing that, because it's amazing what the government don't understand. We are the plumbing. The travel advisor is the plumbing to connect the air with the land, with the car, with the tour. The United States government, we don't even have a contact tracing in place. We're the only major country in the world that does not have that. It was supposed to come out September 1. It didn't. It failed. There's nothing. Really, there's nothing. States are doing it on their own, but there is no plan. The National Security Council, when you have intergovernmental organizations in the United States, they take the lead, right? So they have agreed to say, okay, we believe that testing for quarantine is safe, but they've done nothing to move on that. The FAA, the CDC and the CBP are on these test trials, but again, nothing is happening. I anticipate nothing will happen till after the presidential elections, and then depending on the outcome, we'll see what may or may not happen. I do know in the last week or so, the U.S. government is trying to push to open up, European countries, but the Europeans do not want to open up. And for the reason I believe is twofold. One, they don't want to get involved in presidential elections, so whatever's going to happen is going to happen after that. But today's date, Germany announced a total lockdown. All bars and restaurants, everything is shutting down for a month. So Germany just put the lock and key. France, the same thing. No movement from regions. You can't go from one region to the other region. Greece, who we hailed did so well, today had close to 1,600 COVID cases, 10 fatalities, 110 people on ventilators. So, guys, 41 states are quarantined: New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
But this is this as a result of COVID fatigue, of stopping, of not trying as hard, thinking everything's okay? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
this is not just this country.
That's correct. It's worldwide. Now, could you imagine? And I bring World War II. Countries were under there for 4 to 5 years. We've been 8 months, folks. It's 8 months. We have to fully understand we're going to be in this for another year. Now, I think once we get past it, right now, this second wave is not even the flu season or the winter. These are the fatigue of people who went away and went to resorts and let their guard down and really thought, oh, I'm outside, I'm in the air, it's okay. But okay, if you're outside and by yourself, you're fine. But if you're outside and you're in a crowded street, you're not okay. And this is what happened. Now, the third wave, which is depending on if we can go down and go back up or we'll just stay high, that's going to be the winter flu season. We won't be able to tell the difference on, do I have the flu or do I have COVID?
I'm having that trouble now.
Yeah.
Or a cold or allergies.
That's correct. We don't know where we are. This is why in the state of New York and the mayor and in Chicago and the big cities, they're telling people for Thanksgiving, stay at home. Don't go anywhere. Now, that's not good for the travel advisor and the travel industry. And what we're trying to say is that you can safely travel and separate the two, right? So we're saying as travel advisors, and this is why our value as travel advisors has gone up, is that in this environment, look, Europe is shut down. Forget about Europe, folks. We're looking at domestic travel and the beaches. We're looking at Caribbean. We're looking at Cancun is the number one international destination. Who would have ever thought Cancun would be the number one? I didn't, that's for sure. So where we are right now is we can say this, is that if you have tested negative COVID, you pick up your advisor and say, where can I go? I know I don't have it. Where can I go? Because I want to be safe. The idea is I don't want to import the virus. I don't want to export the virus. So the travel advisor, and this is why our value is high. We have to know the basics of COVID. We have to know what advice we give before a trip, after a trip, during a trip, where to call if I get sick during a trip, resources. I don't know if many advisors know that Italy has now opened up. You can go as an American citizen. If you're going on business, you can go for 5 days to Italy. You can go into Italy and leave Italy. As long as you have a ticket in and out within 5 days, there's about 10 things you have to send. Where am I going to be, business letterhead and all that. that's a step in the right direction. One, as advisors, we're the key for those who feel comfortable to travel to tell them where they can go safely, right? What resorts are good? What countries? What are the requirements for a country to go? And how do I get in? So the role of the advisor right now, their stock and value has gone through the roof. Really, it has, because if you're going to want to travel, you're not going to rely on click, click, click and book it online. You got to go to the travel advisor. And the travel advisor needs to tell that to their customers. The travel advisor, whether you're a small agency, whether you're an independent contractor, whether you're with a host agency, whoever you're with, you and your social media, you need to say, I am here to give you the path to be able to travel. I think that's critical, especially as things are going to open and close.
Let's talk about, please, the difference between the way the airlines are handling COVID, because the ultimate, as we talked about, the travel advisor being the person to consult to try to figure out a customer's trip. How can the travel advisor help the consumer choose between the airlines?
Right. So that's a great question, and it has some complexities. The first complexity is, and I'm sure many travel advisors on this that are listening will understand, a number of the veteran sales reps that we have retired, furloughed, or they've been forced into retirement. So there's a kind of a brain drain on the people that we know, that as a travel advisor, you can pick up the phone and call someone for help. And there's a lot of moving around. So the first thing as an advisor is, who are you comfortable with that you can call to get the help if you need the help? As far as, is it safe to fly? American, United, and Delta have done an amazing job. I mean, these planes are as clean as they're ever going to be. I mean, literally. And besides those who are still nervous, and I get on a plane, I see them, they're still wiping down and with the alcohol and all these pads. So the flights are very safe. Okay, it's a matter of, where am I going to fly? Am I on a small plane, a 737, a 75? A lot of the big planes aren't flying. Where it gets a little bit different is if I'm flying to Europe, for those who still can go to Europe, and I'm connecting it to a second flight, and I'm flying a nice big plane over the Atlantic, and then I'm put into a small 73 and 8-320. How crowded is that going to be? And how comfortable am I going to be next to those people? So, the protocols and the cleanliness and all that, it changes airline by airline. We can say that we have a high comfort level. I personally have seen what American Airlines, United Airlines, and Delta Airlines does in the United States. I have no problem advising, saying that I have put my family on all three airlines. Now, the difference is Delta still does social distancing. There'll be no one next to you. So, that's a pretty good value if you're flying, Comfort Plus and there's no one next to you, or in the front, or even in economy, and people have a high comfort. But that's a personal high comfort level. Certain routes, the airlines are running 30-40% capacity. You'll still have the seat next to you empty, but there's no guarantee. So, but if we separate my personal comfort versus safety, all three have amazing protocols in. The planes are very safe. They wipe them down. They're electrostatic, whether they use the UV lighting. I mean, it's really, I'm not concerned. Same thing with the airport. But it's still up to you, the traveler. Wash your hands, keep your mask on, don't put your hands to your face, and travel safely.
Well, that brings us to our final question. You gave great advice last time about how travel advisors should coach their clients. So as we are looking to travel now, what's your latest advice? Has it changed from July? Have you come up with any new methods?
No, it hasn't. I want to be honest, and I understand you're caught between wanting to make the sale and the revenue and the safety. You know what, folks? There are parts of the world that even if they can go, you got to really tell the customer, do you really want to go there, right? I mean, if they can fly to France and Germany right now, do you really want to go to France and Germany right now? I mean, let's be honest. Somebody might say, I'm not worried, but if the country shut down, right, and they still want to go there, and the bars and the restaurants are closed, ask them, what are they going to do? Great, I'll send you there. What is it that you're going to do? So as far as the advice, I know people have fatigue. I know people are saying, well, I've traveled for 8 months. Nothing has happened to me. But look, you traveled, but you wore a mask. You wash your hands. But, you never know. So my advice is still the same. One, pack light. Use your carry-on. Two, wash your hands. Keep a mask on. And by the way, wear a comfortable mask. Don't, spend a couple of dollars and don't.
You want to go the long haul with the mask, not the short sprint.
That's correct. And, you're going to fall asleep. Your head's going to burn. Food. 8 months ago, most of you were a lot lighter. You've gained some weight for 8 months, right? So you know what? You can go a couple hours without eating. And by the way, look at what you're being served on a plane. Let's be honest, folks. I was on a flight on a carrier, and for breakfast, they were giving me a can of Pringles. I'm not going to eat a can of Pringles. It's all salt. So,
it's the home fries.
Yeah.
No egg, just the home fries.
Yeah, just crunch them up, right? So look, it's although a plane is safe, let's be honest. If I'm sitting there and not everybody in the plane is tested, why is it safe? Because everybody's wearing a mask. So everybody has a mask. You have a HEPA filter. The guys next to you, you don't know who he is or she is. You're taking off your mask. They're taking off their mask, and you're going to eat, some high salt food. Really? Do you really need it? Planes in the United
States. It's just another risk.
That's correct.
Think of each thing as a risk, and you're saying, is it worth the risk
to
have beef jerky and your mask off with a stranger?
Where you need to take a test, take the test. If you fly a lot, you really should have a regime of taking a test every so often just to make sure, because you're flying. And it gives you a comfort level that I flew, I took a test that was negative. But again, pack light, wash your hands, have your wipes, have a comfortable mask. I would prefer that, you can have the ones around the ears, but if you're taking a long haul flights, have the ones that are the two laces behind your head, which are the KN95s, but they go around so they don't, your ear, because here's what happens. You put your headphones on, they might get stuck, they might come off. It's okay to fly, really, it's safe, but let's be smart about it, right? So dress appropriately. When you get to your hotel or anytime, remember one thing, your hands are exposed. Wash your hands before you take off your mask. Unless it's a disposable, then just throw it away, because you don't want to contaminate your mask with your hands, which is actually something that may happen. Wash your hands, take off the reusable mask. If it's a throwaway, then throw it away. Take off your clothes, put it in a bag. It's good after a couple of days. Take a shower, feel relaxed. Travel is safe, but you need to make it safe. You need to remember. And it's not only travel. Wash your hands and wear a mask.
Well, it's like the casinos in Vegas. You might as well have the advantage like the house has. Yeah, travel safe, but why not get the advantage?
And here's the last thing I want to say. If you travel, it's okay to walk around with a mask. If the other people don't want to wear a mask, that's their problem. Don't get shamed into, well, they didn't wear a mask, I'm going to take off my mask. Why? You're in a foreign country, folks. You're going there, whether for business. Now, if you're in a resort and, you're outdoors and it's hot and the wind is blowing and there's no one around you, great, have a good time. But even in a resort, if you're in the main lodge, put on your mask, put it in your pocket.
Well, the rule of thumb still is the same. If you're within 6 feet of someone, put on your mask.
Yeah. Unless you're in a place where everybody walked in, and it's a bubble that everyone was COVID-free, good, enjoy it. But I have personally experienced where I'm wearing a mask in a lobby, and then some people walk up and they start talking to me and taking off the mask. And I won't take mine off. I don't care. I don't know if all these people around me.
Well, that makes me uncomfortable because I'm wearing the mask for them because I understand that I'm blocking it. But when they take it off, they're exposing me.
Well, no, it depends on what you're wearing. So that's the difference between like a cloth mask that protects me from you, but a K95 protects for the most part. You know what? I tell people, if you're going through a lobby, and by the way, the lobby, and the reason I'm pointing out the lobby is there's people checking in, people checking out. No one has a clue what's going on over there, right? So you want to give sound advice, and the sound advice is your car ride to the airport is safe. The airport is safe. The airplane is pretty, and this is statistics, so we can only go by the statistics, right? And in the
and we have a lot more statistics than we had before.
That's 8 months of this, absolutely. For the most part, a lot of places in the Caribbean are safe. Cancun, #1 destination, very low COVID. You have to, you're hoping that the person traveling is a little bit smarter and they'll take a test before they leave. And that's why I think it's important that if we get the medical registry like a Common Pass or AOK or whatever, where countries say, take a test and then come on down, then the chances of you catching this virus are minimal. Now, factor in the fact that we have better therapeutics. So if you do, God forbid, get sick, that, 5, 6, 7 days, and you're good. Now, if you have underlying conditions, obviously that's a personal decision whether you're going to travel or not. But as travel advisors, what we need to do is we need to stay current on what countries' regulations are to enter. We need to stay current and ask that resort or hotel, what is it that you're doing? Because remember, there's no guarantee that all the hotels have all the amenities. Buffet, if you like a place and it's leisure, there's no buffet. So if there's no buffet, how are you servicing my customer? Room service, do you leave it at the door or do you bring it in? Me personally, when I go to a property, I don't want cleaning service. I'm pretty neat to begin with. I put the do not disturb. The minute I don't need anybody. I really don't need someone to change my sheets every day. That's ridiculous, right? So be smart. Nothing has changed from what I said last time, because you know what? Not only is COVID with us, right now we're in that second wave, which is a lot worse than the first wave.
Well, what I heard now, which is new, we're always talking about how the travel advisor is going to be more important. The travel advisor should stay up to date on what's going on. But now what I heard was that this is a thing that a travel advisor can now do and say to their clients, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I've been studying this. And if you hadn't been considering traveling, I can help you start to think about it.
Correct. That's interesting because Travel Leaders did a survey, 3,000 customers. Now, there's a lot of surveys out there. I encourage travel advisors, when you look at surveys, look at the surveys done by people in our industry. If a newspaper does a survey, you don't know who they surveyed, right? So you don't know if the guy's really going to travel. What we want is the people who have traveled and are willing to travel. And we found, the good news is we only found 1% said they'll never travel again. So that means they just were on a bad day when they filled out the survey, right? But half of them said once they got our survey, they started to think about travel. So I think it's very important that the travel advisor reaches out to their customers, but do your homework. Go online, Sherpa is a good website that shows things that are coming in. Timatic. There's a survey for those who are big agencies, midsize or whatever. You can get Timatic updates. You can pay, it's like $200 a year, and they'll send you updates all day long on what countries are doing. But I advise you, if you do pay the $200, do a rule engine, because you'll get 1,000 of them a day. The countries change it like that. But stay alert. What is the latest? Like today, October 28th, the UK sent out the new reminding people that November 1 there's new regulations. Italy put in the beginning of October, the 5 days. Are you aware of this? Is this the first time you're hearing this on listening to this program? You need to stay on top of it. You need to relay to your customers that you can book their trip with confidence. Now, they should make the decision to go. But you're right, Alan. I, as a travel advisor, say, you know what? You want beaches? I can send you to Cancun. I can send you to Aruba. I can say,
this is what's safe right now. I have my list.
And here's the other issue. There's a lot of people who have programs out there. How do we know that it's real? How do I know when a hotel said, that
I know we publish these things all the time, and I often wonder, where does it have teeth?
Right. Because that's a concern. A hotel tells me I do all this. What does that mean? I don't know. You put a sticker on the door that it's closed. That's fine. Does that mean you didn't touch the room for a week because the virus dies? Or did I disinfect the room and it's clean and it's good to go? So you don't know. There is so many questions. How do you handle your employees? I want to know the room is clean, right? You know what I want to know? What's the policy for your employees? Do you have a thermal scanner when they come in and are you taking their temperature? If they're out sick, if they call in sick, do you make them take a PCR test or a COVID test before they come back to work? Because I don't know if they were out sick. Was it just a cold? Guys, there are so many questions out there, and we have to think about the safety and well-being of our customers. And the more you're in the know and you have that confidence, your customer's going to book with you with confidence, but you really got to do your homework.
Peter, I am so appreciative of the time you spent with us and also the time you spend in the air and researching all this. Thank you for being that warrior.
Listen, I take it personally that in our organization, right, we have thousands of families, and these families are hurting right now. I have to tell you is that I've had a lot of friends who are right now sitting at home and don't know how they're going to pay their mortgage. I've been in the business 30 years. I've been through ash clouds, 9/11, the hurricanes. People lost their houses. So to me, this is not my job responsibility. It's something because I can and I'm in a position to do. Because you know what? There are hundreds of thousands of our fellow colleagues who are right now. And you know what I'm worried about mostly is what is this industry going to look like a year from now? We're going to lose talent. We're going to lose senior agents who are going to retire and didn't have the time to pass the knowledge over to the next generation. And I worry that, how we're going to survive. We're fortunate that financially we're solid, right? Because we have investors and we have backers behind us. But I was at a meeting with ARC and they said they anticipate 37% of all ARC numbers to disappear by December.
Wow.
That's thousands. Travel and tourism is the #1 export of the United States. Look at how many people are hurting. So when I do this, I am pushing airlines because I'm pushing governments, and I'm saying, guys, we need to discuss how to open up. We can't have a handout. It doesn't work. We need to get how I can test, how I can stop the spread of the virus. And travel advisors, this is the best time for you to show your value to your customers, but you need to stay on top of it. Get up early in the morning. I know you're working from home. Go on websites, read whatever. For those who have LinkedIn, I pretty much give it the way it is on my LinkedIn. And I'm not doing a commercial or anything, but I just call it the way it is. I've had airlines who are pissed off at me. I couldn't care less. But you know what? Let's be honest with our customers. We have to be honest with our customers, and they will appreciate it, and you'll get that sale.
Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.